today I would love to talk a little bit more about the breadcrumbs. Why do we get so turned on by breadcrumbs? Why do we get so disturbed and just riled up and drawn deeper into a relationship that's not giving us what we really want and what we really deserve? Basically, we're just given the absolute minimum. We're told things like, "Oh, I love you. You're the one for me. I see us together forever." But that energy, his attention just doesn't come towards us. So we find ourselves going into this place of doing more and more and more for him to get just a little more of those drips of love and affection back. So why does this happen to us and how do we stop it?
Well, we are all wounded.
Hmm.
It's not just the wounded masculine, it's the wounded feminine. We have been raised, unfortunately, most of us, uh, with less than the affection, attention, physical touching, holding, caring, being with that we actually need to be whole. And even a one instance or two that might have happened in our families that was not even serious could stick with us forever. I know that that was a big discovery for me and all this, everybody, that I've done so much work. I mean, I'm of the 60s, therapists and swimming in water and screaming and certain, bouncing around with bataka hitting, everything that has been ever the rage. And I am an actual credentialed rebirther. And I love that very much, which is about breathing. I'm credentialed in a lot of things. There's a lot of somatic healing. Peter Levine's stuff, but it has been turned into a great many kind of somatic, which is the body, the cells of the body holding the pain and how to release that, EMDR, all of those things. I love Psych K, if you've ever heard of that are about, shifting energy. I'm a Reiki too. I've always been a Reiki. I know you are too, Natalie, I believe.
Mhm.
Why do we do all that kind of therapy? Why are we still doing it? Why do we have, different techniques? Why do I have the warrior method? Because we're all wounded and we all have patterns. And I talk a lot about patterns in this live, I think is like the big issue. We all have patterns that we have been accustomed to using and taught to use to, unfortunately, strategically work around our wounds. Have you noticed that you are very defensive? Somebody says something that is even mildly triggering to you based on what you've experienced as a child and may not even be aware of, or even as a grown-up, things that happened in my 20s. The way your relationship was with your family, your mother, your father, your uncle, the way you were treated, the way you took that in, that just becomes like our matrix. That's our matrix, our make-believe. Wow, I need to use that. The movie The Matrix, where reality was so different from what it looked like to us once we were in the matrix and plugged in. Well, not that the similarity exists between those two realities, but that they felt so different. And the one that was an illusion felt just as real as the real one. And we tend to pick the one that is the least stressful. So almost every one of us would pick the illusion, right? So here we are picking the illusion, the one that satisfies the trigger, makes us feel less terrible, less sorrowful, less upset, less triggered. And unfortunately, love and affection and attention coming at us is always triggering because we are used to not receiving. And so we're used to pushing away what's coming at us. We're used to judging men for their looks, which is irrelevant. We're used to judging men for everything that is irrelevant in order to justify in our masculine brain, to justify pushing him away. And just as a side note, I was just interested. I was looking, I'm always following my coaches from RCT on Instagram and TikTok. And what I've noticed is that all of the really successful ones, the ones who are married and happily married with the family they want, the everything they want, they're all gorgeous. All RCTers tend to be just so lovely because you're filled with joyous passion to do something with your lives that kind of overwhelms the icky patterns. It's like finding something bigger and something more fun to do. And then getting the support from all of us that, yeah, it's fun. It's not some horrible work thing you have to do in your masculine energy yet again for the gazillionth time in your life. It is something fun and light and life fulfilling, and it's coming from what you feel and who you are. So that transfers, I think, in a lot of ways to the women that I see. They're gorgeous, and all of their husbands are not lookers. I'm here to tell you, all of the successful women, except maybe you, Natalina, your husband's a serious looker. Your husband's a serious looker, but so not all. So many are not. Sammy Wonder's husband is not a looker. Georgia Patrice's husband is not a looker. Yeah, Helena Hart's husband is a looker. Okay. All right. So maybe that was wrong. But so many are not. And let's say you get to choose, but be able to choose a man who is pleasing to you is irrelevant. What is irrelevant is the external. However, what we are all patterned to be attracted to is what attracts us, what turns us on. And I guess we all have some kind of fetish. We have a fetish for a certain look, a certain sound, a certain action. And that fetish look, that attractive thing that is subconscious to us, is all connected to our pattern of triggering and the way we are used to experiencing the label of love, which is usually not very warm. It's usually very, we're each in our own place. You know, they call that very British, you know, but actually it's just across the board. And when we get anxious and dramatic and all the things that men accuse women of, it's just because our insides are craving all of this actual warmth and love and affection and attention and feeling safe and feeling heard, but all of our training pushes us to the complete opposite. And so we're just sort of jumping out of our skins. And we're the way back, the way through. And so we're choosing men who breadcrumb us. We are literally choosing men who breadcrumb us. And unfortunately, if you've married one, now you're going, or you've been with a guy for a year and you're going, and you don't want to leave. And I understand that. That's what the modern siren is all about. You don't have to leave. You can transform. But this is why you got to go first. And to all the women who say, why do I have to change? Why do I have to do the work when it's him who's being an asshole? Because you have chosen this asshole. You have become turned on by this asshole. You are standing with this asshole and you're asking me how you can make this asshole better. That tells you that you have been primed, you have been groomed, you have been trained in a subconscious way to choose that asshole. So you have to go first. You have to stop choosing breadcrumbs. And the only way to do that is to start opening up and start accepting emotional intimacy. And as Natalina Love talks about, emotional attraction then happens. If you're dating, you will start to attract more emotionally available men because you are emotionally attractive. You're not sort of being come hither on one end, but pushing him away on another. There is warmth involved here, and there's a lot of fear in changing that in ourselves. So yes, we have to go first. And then he changes. He just, this is like basic in the siren thing, which is, it's like dancing. If you change your dance steps, he will change his. Even though he's supposed to be leading.